Hi, welcome to my channel.
Hey, Uncle Kenny! Football! Hey, yeah!
If you're new here, my name is Cedric. I'm an actor, a filmmaker, a screenwriter, and a YouTube reactor. And I am, as you can see, I just moved these. They were on my bookshelf if you've seen other videos, but I moved them over here. A BTS fan! Love BTS. So I've been exploring some of their music as it's come out. I have not been able to keep up with each individual member's new releases. It's been a busy few months for me with different films happening. Strikes are over. We did it. We got deals for both the Writers Union and the Actors Union. So films are picking back up. So I have not been able to keep up, but I've enjoyed everything that I've experienced and everything I've gotten to see with them. It's cool to see them kind of put their own stamp on things, and then obviously I can't wait for everybody to get back together and have a big comeback, and whenever they tour the US, I will be there. I will be going to see it. I actually, as we get into this, I just missed, a couple weeks ago, why was I going into the city? Because I live just outside of New York City, and I was going in to do something. I had a reason I was going in for. I was seeing a play. I was seeing Ali Ibach's one-person show, Midnight Cowboy Radio, which I believe is currently in London. And if you get a chance to see it, Ali's great. Ali was in Upstaged. Ali's very talented, wonderful show. But anyway, I was going in to see that, and on my train in, I saw Jungkook was going to be performing in Times Square. And so I changed my route a little bit and booked it to Times Square and got there like right after everyone left, and I was so mad. I was so mad. I cannot tell you. Anyway, I'm excited to look at this. I don't think I've gotten to explore any of Jungkook's solo stuff yet. I think he had Golden, which I think is what he was doing in Times Square. So I haven't gotten to really see any of that. So, I've done some of the Golden Closet films and some of that stuff, but none of his solo work since everybody started their military service. So I'm really excited to check this out. Before we do that, I just want to say thank you, of course, as always, to my patrons on Patreon, especially as we were on strike this summer, especially as I was dealing with everything in my personal life. Your support continues to mean so much to me, and I'm so, so grateful for it. And of course, I continue to thank you all for your prayers and energy and good vibes as we continue to process my family's loss from this summer. Thank you for doing that, and for all the people who have planted things and donated things, and that's just been amazing. I'll continue to leave that link in the description of the videos. That's been so wonderful. I am very excited to be going to Los Angeles next month to attend the Hollywood Creative Alliance's Astro Awards, where our indie series, The Coroner's Assistant, is the only indie series nominated for Best Writing on a streaming comedy series. We've also been nominated for Best Period Costumes against Queen Charlotte and Bridgerton and The Crown. It's amazing. We're up for the streaming comedy series against Only Murders in the Building and The Bear and Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and The Great. And it's just so cool to see us there. So I'm excited to go for that. For those of you who have watched the show, thank you so much. For those who haven't, it is all on YouTube. There is a link in the comments of this video. Please check that out. I'm so proud of that indie series. Okay. I've talked enough. Let's go ahead. This is Jungkook standing next to you live on The Tonight Show. I wanted to do it live. I figured I'll do the music video at some point, but I thought, hey, if I do it live, I'll focus on vocal technique and vocal production and the singing, and then for the music video, I'll focus on the music video. So we're gonna start with the live performance. This is Jungkook standing next to you. Hey guys, I was really impressed with this video. This is me as I'm editing. So what I did was I asked my twin sister, Salon, to go ahead and watch the video as well. She's a dancer, she's a major in dance, and I just wanted her thoughts additionally on some of this choreography and some of the performance. So throughout this video, you're gonna see her cut in as well. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do it together, but I think she provides some really valuable insights that a lot of you will appreciate, that I certainly appreciated. So I hope you enjoy that. Please give her a big welcome.
Here with the TV debut of his song, Standing Next to You, from his new album, Golden. Give it up for Jungkook!
It's a cool album cover. Oh, cool. Okay, all right. Before we even get to any of the vocals here, the thing that this immediately brings to mind is Bruno Mars's Super Bowl halftime show, which I still think is the best halftime show I've seen in my life. This is a great opening. Why? Because one, he's silhouetted. Two, it's good blocking, he's in the middle. But it's really focused on small movements made large by the light behind him. The album's called Golden, it's all golden lights. We have the circles coming down, we see the mic, we know he's gonna get there, but first we're gonna dance. So he's kind of popping off the screen that way. He's also wearing a white shirt with the sequins on his costume, so it helps him stand out from all the background dancers that are up there with him.
Just off the start, I want to point out that it's really interesting that they kind of have him shrouded around the other dancers. You can't quite tell that which one is Jungkook, except for that sparkle right now we see on his sleeve. The way they've got the lights dimmed really makes him blend in with everyone else. It's also just a really nice tool to kind of have this pop surprise as the lights turn up here in a minute.
It's also an interesting way to call to mind the way that BTS functions as a group with their choreography and with their blocking, where we're used to kind of finding them among the crowd of the other guys in the group. Well, for a second, it felt like they were all there, so that's kind of a unique way to do that. Super impressive choreography here as well. I'm sure I'm going to be talking a lot more about that, but very Bruno Mars, shades of Michael Jackson, kind of that classic performer that I feel like in the music industry we really haven't had in a bit. And there have been plenty of people that have tried and frankly should have succeeded, but it's cool to see Jungkook just being like, nope, we're going to do this and it's going to work and it's going to be great. And here we are. Nice. Oh, cool. Ooh, 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 ooh.
We've got these really strong pulses, this focus on the hips, these strong isolations between the wrists. And right there, we've got this rib isolation going on, all things that are very evocative of that Michael Jackson style dance we've got going on.
Ooh. Such a nice flip into his head voice. Listen to this again. It's not even a full head voice because he's definitely, it's a mix. But he's going falsetto and then mixing his chest voice back into it. Da, 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 da. I don't even think he stayed in it the whole time. Let's just check it out again. Really beautiful work. And his little bits of blocking, he could have stayed at the mic, but instead he walks around and he's just pumping up the energy a little bit. You can see when the backup vocal comes in and he takes a break and then comes in, you can hear that it's a live vocal, which is an interesting way to do that, to allow the track to have a vocal. And then when he comes back in, you can clearly hear that live produced sound. He's clearly producing this live. You can hear even the effort from the dance in his voice. It's cool. It's a showman's performance. Whoa. Okay.
Now we have this moment that I feel like he's probably doing maybe a little bit of improvised within a set reality. I quite like that spin there, make it a little bit more dramatic.
Let's hear that flip again. Oh, he does stay up there.
Oh, they're using the mic stand as a prop. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that way before. I like it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we gotta see that little dance break again. Let's take it back about 10 seconds here.
Definitely this strong back and forth between sharp actions, these flicks sort of things, and these smooth sort of languid actions, which are still happening very fast, but it's like there's a resistance to it.
I think it's a really cool blocking moment to have him lift up the mic stand and have them hold it up as he, is coming down here. He's lifting the whole thing up. Lets him really kind of sell the vocal performance as he's able to descend and then come forward straight into the dance break. And of course, with a choreography moment, this little moment of stillness where all he's doing is kind of holding onto the mic, only half holding onto it really, and sinking down. lets the next section seem even bigger than it already is, because all of a sudden the music's popping and he's out there, and because we're on a wide angle lens with a smaller stage behind him and all the lights are hitting him and he's got the sequined glittering pants, all the movements seem that much bigger, and he's got, again, a lot like what I just talked about in my video with J-Hope, he's got such great control that everything, it's almost like a strobe light effect. Because of the glitter in his pants, actually, really sells a lot of these moments and helps accentuate all of these movements.
These points, these toe points where he's got his hand going out to one side, the toe to the other, very, very invoking of that like disco, you know, that's the way people dance disco when they're trying to reference it in a movie or something like that. And it's for a reason. It's a good look. We've got the other dancers coming in. I think I've seen in some BTS videos in the past, they do some of that. I'd have to look up the video to see which one it is. Let me do that here real quick. Okay, so I just went back and watched a couple little clips of the Dynamite music video and also a recording of them performing it at, I think, the Grammys. And you can see very similar moves in that, where they're kind of keeping the trunk steady, but they're taking the rest of the, you know, like the arms and the legs, those other parts, and they're kind of swinging them out. You get a lot of this point, point, point. And it often happens where the hands go one way and the legs go the other to create a counterbalance. We've got some action on both sides. You can see that same sort of thing here. And I think that's an interesting comparison to note because they are both pulling from that 70s disco vibe, at least in my opinion.
But it's so sharp. It's attacking everything. It's not ahead of the beat. It's not behind the beat. Everything is on the beat. And that is a specific choice of choreography, because sometimes you were intentionally just a bit behind or intentionally just a bit ahead. And on this, everything is sharp on the beat, and it's beautiful. Yeah, sorry, right there. Like he flips back into full mix. They can't divide us, da 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 da. Where is that? So he's going, they can't divide us, but then when he hits time, he flips back into his mix. So he goes from that very forward place falsetto, but then he goes back into mix, and it's such a clean transition that you almost can't hear it. It's really beautifully done. Let's just hear that one more time, then into the dance break that I was talking about. Test is where he flips.
Lots of circles. You can see it in the lights. You can see it there where they're repeating it, both as they circle around themselves and as everyone circles around Jungkook.
Oh, come on. That's so good. Oh, that was cool as heck.
That right there, this right here, see if I can get it. That one spot where they kind of put their hand, I'll call it on their belt area, that is very evocative of Michael Jackson. He was quite famous for that. He'd often go up into this forced arch, jazz pushback sort of thing when he did that. You can see Jungkook doing a very similar thing there. He doesn't go into the forced arch, but that like hip grab, belt buckle grab, and making that a focal point in the move. And then right here as well, that cap there he does on his head to like knock it down. Very similar to a Michael Jackson move there. I love it. I love it for both of them.
Yeah, I love the percussive rhythm there of the lyrics. Tet 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 tet. That was really, really nice.
Lots of motions there. They definitely were very much so playing to that moment in the song where he's like going take, 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 and these very short vowels. You can see where they're evoking that same thing in the motions and the actions. Pulse, 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 move, 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 move. And the motions are staccato, so they're matching up with that shortness of the music. It's a really good lineup there between the dance and the song.
And then going into this slow motion. So everything's kind of a quick and then slow.
Pulse, 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 pulse. And then they're going into this slow thing, which is a rejection of that. So it makes it interesting as they're going back and forth between action, these quick short movements and this nice slow languid kind of action that they're doing now.
Which is sort of a classic element to this particular genre, but he's selling it really well. This is not what I was expecting. I thought it would be a bit more pop, but I like this kind of R&B, more late 70s, early 80s style that he's chosen to go with here, which is making a bit of a comeback. And like I said, we've had artists like Bruno Mars that have been able to do it successfully, but it's cool to see him going in this direction. I'm really, really liking this.
Thank you, Sue. One of the things you want to keep in mind when you're looking at this sort of performance is that the stage that they are performing on in Jimmy Fallon is probably quite small. It's probably like the size of some rooms in people's houses that are not terribly big rooms. So to have what looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people performing on that, and they've got a mic stand that they're moving around, and who knows how much of that space the camera people are taking up as they rotate back and forth to get all of these angles, is a really impressive number of moving parts to have in that kind of space. When you look at BTS a lot of the time, I think that's the same number of people. I might be off a person or two. They're usually performing on very large stages. So to have this many people interacting in such a small, intimate space would make it more intimate, as I said, and just make things tighter, which really can limit. So it's awesome to see, you know, all of the actions and the staccatos and the pulses that they managed to put in there by having them emphasize, you know, a single body part, maybe just the wrist. They're able to still make that action strong in such a small space.
And then this little choreography movement here, which I've forgotten, but is the reason that I paused. Let's just watch it again because it was really good and I don't remember what it was. So sorry, I distracted myself. Yeah, that was it. Bum, 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 bum. So it was like standing next to you. It was like standing next to you. I don't know exactly what it was. It was a really clean transition. Maybe it's a switch kick. Maybe, I don't know. I didn't quite catch it, but it's a beautiful little moment of taking the vocal rhythm and putting it into the choreography. Nice. Ooh, sad. Nice. Again, solo now on screen.
I love the floor work here. You don't see that a lot on these kinds of things,
Nice.
So it's really cool that he's integrating that. Lots of isolations of hand and wrist motions.
Small thing, but did you notice he's back at that place where he was before on the previous break? They're kind of moving him around, your eyes are traveling, and so he's always in a different place in relation to everybody else, but he's always in a position of leadership, right? So we're never quite, the eyes are always drawn toward him, but everybody else is selling the same movement. So they're all a little bit different too. There's some individual moments happening there. So all these background dancers are also doing an incredible job, but this choreography is so well done. And obviously they're sticking largely to wide shots and then cutting into close-ups on occasion with Jungkook, but it's really, really, really well done. Yeah. Nice. Oh, that was cool. Yeah, sorry, I'm sorry for pausing this much, but it's so good. Why can't I? Right? So they're doing a lot of like hip hops. That's a lot of the choreography here. So it's boom, 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 boom. Like it's all pretty hard movements. And then, you know, tick, 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 come on, boom, 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 boom. And because we're so used to the hip hops or to the shoulders, then when they go boom, 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 it feels that much cooler because it actually kind of feels like they've gone into slow motion. So it's a really, really neat, I've talked before about having very punchy movements followed by slower ones, and that is something BTS in particular does a lot. But it's really working right here with this genre, with this score, everything, with the orchestration of it, with his vocal. It's great.
We're also getting these sort of, in these slow moments, these tableaus where you can just see them like take the shot, but because they're going slower for a second, you kind of get to experience that shot as they go.
Isolated again. Uh-oh. Oh! Oh,
It's so good too. It's a really, really good representation as a dancer. This focus on hips. Oh, sharp movement.
I don't want to pause it. Ah. Okay, sorry, we'll come back to this. We have to watch that whole thing again. Oh my goodness gracious. Wow. So the sharpness of everything, we're kicking into the high gear, even the little things like ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. When he just did that quick movement, everything is so precise. It's hitting, it's not just da-da-da-da-da, it's shoulder, hip, right? Everything is so tight and everything is so fast.
They're just by keeping those movements tight without traveling back and forth a lot, they can kind of guarantee this is my bubble. I've practiced this enough. I'm staying in my bubble. By choreographing it that way, they're kind of keeping everyone safe, but because they're using those big movements, it doesn't feel empty. They're kind of using this balance between the space they've got and making it really big. And they're also really letting it focus on Jungkook as he's in that center of this sort of pyramid we've created. He's in the front and center. It's very focused on him. You can also see just kind of where we're paused here. His actions are a little bit bigger than everyone else's. Their knees are tucked, their hands are tucked. His are both out, and that lets the focus stay on him.
This is why you can see he's a little bit loose. He's got a tighter undershirt on, but the jacket's got a little bit of give to it. The pants have a little bit of give. You can see that now the circles behind him are flaring out. We've got the lights going above. This is meant to bring us so much energy, and especially this moment before when he's just kind of standing there. You kind of build the anticipation, right? It's the quiet before the storm. Then it comes down so confident, puts the mic down, and you can probably see it in my eyes of just going like, oh Lord, what's about to happen? And then he becomes so precise. He just turns it fully on. Not worried about singing right now. Let's just dance like crazy. And it's pretty good.
Lots of like a b-boy vibe. There's also a little bit of that bossy where we see these articulated angles that aren't super common in dance. But bossy was pretty famous for those sort of atypical angles, and I see a lot of that here, but it's being really used in this modernist way where we've got this back and forth foot pattern that they're doing, and then they're accenting that with arms, with hands, shoulder hits, and they're keeping the feet moving in that same pattern, and it's great. It's really cool, and it works really, really well in small spaces like they're using it now. Love it. Oh, look at how many moves he does there in just a couple seconds. That keeps it looking really, really full. Let's see if I can count how many there are. I think it was 7 or 8 movements there in like half a second. That is a level of precision you just saw from him and his backup dancers. They are all tuned in together. They are all tuned into the music. Doing that kind of work is something I really struggle with. So mad props to them. I know that they definitely had to break that down when they were learning to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever the moves were, and then speed it up and speed it up and speed it up and speed it up. And to have it looking that sharp, just very impressive, very, very impressive.
So we're going to watch that again. And just look at the precision of the whole thing. Look at the attack on every single movement. Look at how it's always right on the beat. Really, really good. And then, of course, it drops down to that bass and drum section. They completely switch it up. So they're keeping it fresh. They're keeping it inventive. They're playing with energies. They're drawing you in. This is fantastic.
Everything else there just has such a strong vibe that, like, he is the focus. He is the sparkle.
So look at this. And it's not just a walk forward. He's filling it with character. Yeah. Nice. Little Michael Jackson reference there.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it so much. He looks tired. I don't blame him. That was a lot of work that he did there. I think that that is a great piece. I think if you're interested in dance, there is a lot there to learn about how to make the most of a small space and how to put a lot of dancers into that small space. So for Jungkook to show up and do a full set with a full slate of backup dancers and to absolutely crush it like that is actually really, really cool. I really like that. The backup dancers also did an amazing job keeping up with him. He did an amazing job. You know, he looks tired at the end, but I honestly can't say that he does during the performance, which is incredible because he's doing a lot of isolated movements. He's doing a lot of action there. So to have that kind of stamina, even for a 2-minute performance, is pretty impressive. I'm sure that Cedric thought a lot of similar thoughts to me, but I want to hear more about what he has to say.
I mean, that was pretty great, right? So I'm always impressed with everybody in BTS, but in particular here, the showmanship of it, the performance of it, the charisma. You're just kind of drawn into the beauty of every movement. There's some clear Michael Jackson references in there, which of course I appreciate because I can see that influence all over this particular piece. But also it is singularly Jungkook. It's his voice, it's that beautiful vocal approach that he has, his ability to mix, his range, his ability to go way up there, but also his incredible dance ability, his showmanship. There's a reason that people freak out all the time. And if you don't think that some of these movements of the little hip hops, if those are not specifically designed to kind of make you swoon a little bit, you're crazy. That's exactly what the point is. I mean, it's a romantic song, right? Like, that's the idea of it. But then also, that absolutely elite dance break from everybody. And everybody's committed to the whole thing. But again, we're talking about Jungkook here. Being so sharp with everything. Not just focusing on, oh, I'm going to sing this song really, really well. No, I'm going to dance it just as well. And that's what I love about all the members of BTS, is how committed they are to being triple threats, because they are all also great actors and just general, that charisma that they have. It's not just great singers and great dancers. They also all seem like pretty great people, as far as I can tell. They all seem lovely, and they're also all committed to their art and to doing it to the best of their abilities. And this is Jungkook at his best. I mean, this is fantastic. This is a world-class dancer and singer who's doing it for the world. And you can see that, and it shows. And so I think this is great. I'm super impressed. This is not what I was expecting at all, and I have no idea what the music video would be like. So I'm excited to check that out in the near future. But in the meantime, please drink lots of water. I hope you enjoyed this video. Get a lot of sleep. Happy holidays if you're watching this in December. And if not, happy whatever time of year it is for you.
Thank you so much for having me, Cedric, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye now.
Take care of yourselves, fix your postures, and I will see you very soon. But thank you so much for watching. Please continue to support Jungkook's amazing work, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.